We are going way, way back in time today, thousands of years before written history, even before the ancient pyramids were built. Today, in this explainer, we're uncovering a thrilling mystery. It's honestly one of the greatest survival stories ever told. We're talking about the story of the very first people to ever set foot in America. Ask yourself this for a second. How do you discover an entirely new continent without a boat? America is surrounded by two massive oceans. With no boats, no maps, and absolutely no GPS, how on earth do you get there? It sounds impossible, right? Well, here's the incredible secret. They didn't need a boat because nature actually built them a road. Imagine a world so cold that the ocean itself turned into a massive icy highway, a road that no human being built. And on that frozen road walked the very first people to arrive in the Americas. Section 1. Earth's Big Freeze. So we're traveling back about 20,000 years ago. The Earth was going through a massive ice age. Huge parts of the planet were just covered in thick ice and snow. And because so much of the Earth's water was frozen completely solid into these giant glaciers, the sea levels actually dropped. The ocean just wasn't anywhere near as deep as it is right now. Because the sea levels dropped so low, a hidden piece of land was revealed. Right where Russia and Alaska almost touch today, the ocean floor became completely dry land. Scientists call this the Bering Land Bridge. Picture two massive puzzle pieces, Asia on one side, America on the other, suddenly connected by a giant strip of frozen ground. There were no boats, there were no maps, there was just land, ice, and open sky. Section 2. Following the mammoths. Now that the bridge is there, who would actually dare to walk across a freezing, empty, and totally wild landscape? The answer is actually pretty simple: hunters. You see, groups of people living in Asia survived by hunting massive prehistoric animals. We're talking about giant woolly mammoths with huge tusks, giant bison, and wild horses. During the Ice Age, these giant beasts began wandering across that land bridge, just slowly looking for new grass and food. And naturally, the hunters followed them right across the ice. But we have to remember, this wasn't like a quick weekend road trip. This incredible journey didn't happen in one day, or even 1 year. It happened very slowly, step by step, season by season, over many, many generations. Grandparents started the trek, their children continued the journey, and their grandchildren kept moving forward. It was a slow, epic migration of families who were literally just following their food. They weren't trying to discover America. They were just trying to survive. That is the most fascinating part of this whole story. These families had absolutely no idea they were walking into an entirely new world. They didn't cross a border or see a welcome sign. They were just living their lives, taking care of their families, and tracking their next meal across the ice. Section 3. Spreading across the Americas. Once they arrived, they didn't just stop in the freezing cold. They kept moving. They traveled from the icy environments of Alaska, down through Canada, into the United States, through Mexico, and all the way to the very tip of South America. Within a few thousand years, human beings had spread across two entirely new continents. It's truly one of the greatest journeys in human history. As these groups continued to move and settle in different places, they had to figure out how to live in totally new environments. They adapted to thick forests, wide open plains, scorching deserts, and freezing mountains. They learned to understand the land. They learned which plants they could eat, how to build shelters out of the local materials, and how to hunt completely new types of animals. Over a really long period of time, these separate groups, living in all these different environments, grew and evolved. They became what we now know as the distinct Native American tribes. Because they were living in different areas, they developed their own unique languages, their own beautiful traditions, and their own specific ways of life that perfectly matched the land they called home. Section 4. The First Americans. They didn't have GPS, they didn't have warm jackets, they had courage. It is mind-blowing to think about the sheer bravery it took to do this. They didn't have heavy winter gear or off-road trucks. They had courage, and they had a powerful will to survive. Because of their strength, a wild, untamed continent full of forests, rivers, and mountains became a thriving home for millions of people. And that brings us to the year 1492. In a lot of history books, you might hear 1492 as the time when Christopher Columbus supposedly discovered America. But when we look at the incredible 20,000-year timeline we just explored together, 1492 is actually extremely recent. People were already here. For thousands and thousands of years before any European explorer ever sailed across the Atlantic Ocean, America was already full of life. It was full of families,
thriving cultures, complex languages, and vast civilizations. Their story didn't start on a wooden ship. It started with nothing more than footprints on a frozen bridge that doesn't even exist anymore.
Which leaves us with a massive, fascinating question. What happened when the Europeans finally arrived and these two entirely different worlds collided? How did these thriving tribes interact with the new arrivals? Well, that is a wild story of its own, and we are going to dive deep into it in our very next explainer. American history is full of hidden mysteries just waiting to be uncovered. So make sure you stick around, stay curious, and join me next time as we continue to explore the incredible story of the Americas.